Having abundance of time during this lockdown, I decided, fuck it, let's binge the entirety of Attack on Titan, and it was a great time.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Growing up, I tended to stay away from mainstream anime. Excluding the likes of Dragon Ball, Inuyasha, and Yu Yu Hakusho, I didn't watch the likes of Gintama, Bleach, or Naruto, so no surprise when the first season of Attack on Titan was airing back in 2013, I decided not to watch it because I didn't want to jump in on the bandwagon. In retrospect, that was a dumb decision on my part because all I had to do was not look at the Eren X Levi fanfics or the weird memes people created. Now, having binged the entire series from the very first episode to episode 12 in season 3 part 2, I can say that it kinda worked out. I didn't have to wait several years to understand the story and the mystery behind the Titans. My dumb decision of not wanting to jump in on the bandwagon allowed me to freely watch 7 years worth of anime in about 3 days. Lastly, it allowed me to realize that Attack on Titan as a series is almost perfect. Keyword there being almost. And that's what this video is about. I want to break down what makes Attack on Titan so great and so complete from a writer's standpoint. Before that, if you like literally anything about anime, then please subscribe, it would really help me out. And also, let's get this video to 20 likes cause I'm desperate. I myself really like mysteries, so much so that I've watched an abundance of mystery anime and even those 5-minute detective tests on YouTube, which don't work at all by the way. So it should be no surprise that when I watched Attack on Titan, I was hoping for a complex world with an adequate amount of lore and questions for the audience and the characters to figure out. And I can say that when it came to mystery, Attack on Titan checked off all the boxes. In fact, my respect and admiration for the series increased solely because of the way mystery and the nuances were handled in the show. You see, normally mystery in anime is tackled through a sequential order. Person X finds out the first clue, and then from there on the second clue becomes more clear. Obviously not all anime are like that, and one of those anime would include, you guessed it, the good old Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan incorporates mystery in a more unorthodox way. Whereas many other anime tackle it in a sequential or chronological order, AOT uses mystery like a puzzle. A very, very complex puzzle. Sometimes we get clued in on an event that happened before Eren's past, and sometimes we find out what'll happen 8 years after. That might sound very basic, but trust me, it really isn't. As a writer, writing like Hajime Isayama is not an easy task. Imagine having to write an as of now 31 plus volume manga, wherein say like the 27th volume, you'll have to give a flashback about an event that happened in chapter 4. That still has to make sense in the overall context of things. I mean, just talking about it is hurting my brain. Even if other anime were to have a mystery like Attack on Titan, the world itself would have to be big enough to handle it. Which brings me to my second part, world building. World building in anime is something I value quite a bit, which explains why I don't watch many high school anime because the entire world is pretty much condensed into a small building. Not to mention that most of them are quite mundane and not a great time. But the world building in Attack on Titan, however, is Michelin star worthy and is arguably the best world building we've seen in anime, period. We begin our story in the Shiganshina district within Wall Maria, the birthplace of Eren and Mikasa. After the Titan invasion, Eren and Mikasa flee to the inner protection of Wall Rose. This is where we find out about the district system in the show. You see, Eldia is a very complex country. There are many districts such as the districts of Shiganshina within Wall Maria, the districts of Utopia, Karanis, Trost, and Krolva within Wall Rose, and the Stohes, Ermek, Yakrol, and Orvid districts within Wall Sina. I butchered all those names, but I'm sorry. This is just scratching the surface of how large the world actually is. I still haven't mentioned the Titan Forest, Utgard Castle, or the abundance of large fields. Starting from Shiganshina District, the world quite literally expanded into what we know today. And also don't forget that in Season 3 Part 2, we find out that the AOT world is actually much larger, and we've only seen within the country of Eldia, which only surmounts a very minuscule area compared to Britannia and the continent itself. It's an ever-expanding world that's bound to get even larger, but as they say, a world without people is not a great world. I'm not sure if anyone says that, but just go with it. Any good show needs good characters, that's just a given rule. The world building, lore, and mystery is worthless if the characters themselves are crap, but this is a video appreciating Attack on Titan and why I think it's almost perfect. So obviously that entails that I myself also like the characters. Now I could analyze several characters and explain why they're brilliant, but this is not a character analysis video, but if you'd like that, let me know in the comments below, I could probably make that happen. In this video, I'd like to focus on the character designs themselves. What is unique in Attack on Titan is that the characters are not differentiated by their attire. They all wear the exact same uniform as each other. This is quite different to something like, say, My Hero Academia, where yes, they do have their exact same UA uniform, but they also have their hero costumes which are totally different to one another. The use of the same uniform is practically unheard of for anime like Attack on Titan. Unless it's a slice of life or high school anime, the main character wearing the same attire as the background characters doesn't really occur much, and from a writer's standpoint, differentiating the character is important. The more a character can stand out, increases their significance and importance to the story. Not to mention their marketing value increases as well, but Attack on Titan does not do that. Eren wears the same clothes as, say, a random side character in the Survey Corps. The same applies to Mikasa, Armin, Levi, Erwin, and everyone else. Yet though this is the case, I'd recognize Eren from a mile away, not because of his uniform but because of his facial structure, mainly his eyes. Anime designs usually focus on two things, the attire of the main character and their hair color, which in turn puts the facial structures in the back burner. Attack on Titan is different, it focuses more on the eyes and the face of the characters more than the hair or the clothes. That's why every character in the show doesn't have some crazy hair color and also no wacky hairstyle. If you looked closely, you could probably point out characters that have similar hairstyles to someone like, say, Mikasa. Isayama is breaking a writer's rule, which makes everything that much more interesting, because Attack on Titan fundamentally works as a show. This is because there's less emphasis on the characters themselves and more on the conflict. Identifying who the main character is quite difficult in and of itself. Sure, you could say it's obviously Eren, but if you look closely, Eren, Mikasa, and Armin practically get about the same amount of screen time. This is not to say Eren is not the main character, but there is less emphasis on him as a character compared to the dynamic between him and the people around him, if that makes any sense. The mystery, world building, and characters are why I think Attack on Titan is nearly perfect. I can't say it's perfect out and out because is anything perfect? My two favorite anime of all time has flaws in them too, but I still consider them my favorite, not because of the structure of those anime, but because of what I felt when watching them. That'll do it for this week's video, folks. Subscribe, do 10 push-ups right now, and I'll see you next week. Bye.